Hi, welcome to OTT Showcase. I'm in conversation with an extremely formidable actor from the world of Ram Gopal Verma to the world of Meera Nair, from the world of Zoya Akhtar to the world of OTT. She came, she conquered, she consolidated. I'm in conversation with Shefali Shah. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you,
wonderful.
Jitesh. Thank you.
At a time when there was danger of you being stereotyped as a mother, how did you break out of that stereotype? Because actresses, like you've said it before, everybody had a shelf life, and wonderfully actors like you, Tabu, Ratna Patak, or even Dimple for that matter, and of course Shabana ji, all of you in your own ways literally broke the glass ceiling. So what was it? I mean, was it a conscious decision? Like, I remember even your performance, it was a small role, but even your performance in Park Avenue, Aparna Sen's. So there was a lot of, it was beautiful without getting into the details. But how did you break the stereotype?
One is after Waqt, I got flooded with mother, grandmother, great-grandmother parts.
Really?
Joking. So it was...
I must add that you were younger, you were playing Akshay Kumar's mother despite being younger than you.
It was completely my choice. So a lot of people do think that because Vipul's my husband, he must have convinced me. On the contrary, he said, do not do it. And Amit had suggested my name for it. And then I was like, listen, I love the part and I want to work with you and I want to work with Amit and I want to do this. So that's how it happened. It was lovely. But then I realized that that's it. That was the beginning and the end of what I was going to do.
So then when you learn to say no more mother roles?
I think I just said a lot of no. I said a lot of no. I think I've said more no than yes in my career. And there was a big gap. And then when I did Dil Dhadakne Do, okay, again, loved the film, loved the part. And after that, I got offered these two other films where I was again asked to play a mother, very, very strong characters and lovely scripts. But I just felt I didn't want to do this anymore. I just didn't, because I would be an old woman at some point of time. I didn't have to rush into it. Once I reached that age, I would have to play those roles. But I had time to play other characters as well. So I just said no. And I think the whole change happened because of Delhi Crime. And of course, I also feel the fact that because I had not been seen for a very long time, definitely not as a mother to an actor older than me, I think DC, I was even in consideration for that role.
Amazing. But hold on to that thought before I go to... I cannot forget Monsoon Wedding. The really... what was it? See, I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know what to say. But the topic of child abuse and the way Meera dealt with it. What was going through... what was going through your life personally at that point?
So I was a couple of months away from getting married to Vipul. I'd finished Satya. Meera had seen Satya and she had called me. And the first thing she said to me is, I don't even know if you can speak in English. Because Satya was, so rustic and whoever she was. And this is the film and this is what I would like you to do. And that's it. I mean, I don't even think I gave it a second thought and I said yes. I was much younger to realize the impact of what that film would, one, be as a piece of art, a piece of cinema, and the kind of effect it would have on people's lives and how long-lasting it would be. I remember when after the film, there were just some friends we were sitting and everyone's gone through an experience like that. The degree may vary, whether you've been touched inappropriately in a market or whatever. Everyone's gone through something like this, which in a varying degree. Luckily, thank God, touch wood, somebody may not have gone through an entire rape or a molest, but the point was you did get touched inappropriately. Or there were some catcalls or somebody said something. And everyone shared it, and at the same time, everyone had kept quiet because it was embarrassing for them. It was
Would you all have
almost
discussions on the
so
set?
that is when that whole conversation came out. On the set, you know what was wonderful is that it was not just a story of Riya. It was everyone's story. That film belonged to everyone. So one of the first things I learned, and I have to give credit to Monsoon Wedding, is that every moment doesn't have to be about you. And you know, you have to be a sofa if need be, because that's the beauty of being in an ensemble cast. When there is an actor and it's his moment, shut the F up and stay in the background. You are the supporting actor. And that whole thing, everyone coming together. So it wasn't just the story of Riya, it was the story of Alice. And you know, it was the story of the guy who does the deck, Dubeji. And it is just like, there were so many characters and so beautiful, so beautiful.
You've played like, have you met like, of course, Riya, then Alice, but coming to your own role, say in Delhi Crime or say your role in Dil Dhadakne Do, have you come across, like how do you make it so real? Have you had reference points? Like, you know, that scene where you're just eating the cake. Like you said, it must have just been, okay, she eats a cake. But you have interiorized that performance so much and you have owned it. You go into the bathroom and you're just stuffing. Everything about your character becomes clear in that or the hospital sequence. Kya baat karni hai tumse, you know? So have you come across people like that? How do you get it? How do you hack it?
I don't really know how I hack it, but it's, see that moment, yes, it came out in an expression of eating cake, but the pain was real, and that pain is universal. Anyone can feel it. And somebody or the other has felt it at some point of time. In fact, after the film got released, there were so many women who, particularly in Delhi, so many women who came up to me and said, this is our story. And I didn't know whether to feel good or to feel bad, because I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It's not exactly the kind of dream life anyone would want to lead. Also, when I did that film, I think I had this conversation with Zoya because I was not in that circle. I did not belong to that society where, you know, where you go out for parties and this is the world that particularly Dil Dhadakne Do had created. So I was like, I don't know what they do. I don't know how they are. But I just knew that she's flawed. She's not likable for sure. She was extremely weak and vulnerable and manipulative. So it was all just a mix of this kachar-pachar, and I think it was just moment to moment. And by the time you've gone through that film, you've gone through the script in your head, you've gone through the whole, I think you start feeling it at some point of time. You just start feeling it, and that's such a vague answer I've just given you.
No, but I get it, because, you know, I always try to think, like even Delhi Crime, how do you hack it? Like that anger when you finally hit that guy. I mean, you are a mother of two sons, but I can imagine what a mother with a daughter, a mother would have gone through. So something like that, how do you absorb it?
It was not just about being a mother. It would hurt anyone. It would anger anyone, even a man, when they heard what he was saying. I was sitting there in front of this actor, and I knew he's an actor. We had rehearsed the lines. I can't tell you the anger I felt at that point of time. I wanted to tear his face apart. I was so angry. Because how can you do that to somebody? So and these moments can't be rehearsed. I think you just feel it, right? And I think, I mean, honestly, when you go to see it, when the Nirbhaya case happened, everyone felt that anger. Everyone felt that pain. Yes, I had the opportunity to meet Chaya ma'am, who was the DCP who cracked it. But finally, she had to become her own person. And when I met her, it was like a 2-hour coffee session. How much can you know about a person in that much? You know? But I think you go through the whole, and then in scripts like this, you know, the blueprint is so solid that you just reread it, and discuss it with your director, or you're doing readings, not necessarily with the entire emotion, but readings with your actors, and then you just start adding one bit here and one bit there, and it just comes to life. And I think you just go, I remember what happened with Delhi Crime particularly is because it's a story of 5 days. Okay? So there had to be a season one. So there had to be a line maintained throughout. And for that, I needed to know exactly what she was doing 3 minutes before. So if I was shooting a sequence, let's say from episode 6, I had to start reading from episode 1. Because then I would be in the loop of it. So it became like every time you read it, something else came out of it. And it was just, I just think, honestly, that moment, anybody would get angry. Anybody would have felt, like we were like, oh God, we can't believe this is what the guy said.
What is the worst piece of advice that you've got and the best piece of advice that you've got?
No, I don't remember. Maybe because I don't take them too seriously. It's not the right thing to do.
But that's
it's like, and also you listen to something, then you probably do it, follow it, not follow it. And then when you tide over those couple of, like for example, I hear an advice today, okay? I'll listen to it, I'll mull over it, I'll adapt it. But I can adapt it to only a certain point of time if I don't believe in it. And by the end of those 2 days of trying this out, I figure, okay, does this work or it doesn't work? And then by then it's, if it's worked, great. It becomes a part of your life. If it doesn't, then you just let it go. It's not worth holding on to. But I remember when I started theatre, so there is this big thing about theatre. You never turn your back to the audience. And of course I followed it. I mean, how can you turn your back to the audience? And I assumed there's the same logic that people use for you don't turn your back to the camera. And I'm like, why not? And I was just recently seeing a reel of mine, which is like, pata nahi kitne saalon pehle ka, some television show. The actor standing next to me, I'm looking here and talking. I was like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, what are you doing? So this whole thing of, no, you have to, why should I catch the light? Why should I face the camera? I shouldn't. The camera has to find me. I don't have to find the camera. I don't have to find the light. Because then I'll be worrying about all these things rather than actually focusing on what I'm feeling as a character at that moment. Then somebody had also told me, you've got a nice smile. You should not flash it too often. I was like, okay. Like, fine, I will not.
Why?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
How easy or difficult an actor are you on the sets?
Oh my God, you'll have to ask my directors.
But I mean, just can you give me an example of how easy or difficult you can be?
I ask a lot of questions continuously. And the thing is, once I have long sessions with my director, we've gone over every word, but the night before the scene, I've again started thinking about it. So, kuch aur naya nikla hai. I remember I walked onto the set, I think it was Delhi Crime 2. And I walked onto the set, and so it was a joke.
She was directing?
No, she wasn't directing.
Okay.
So, and this was a joke, she'll come and she'll say, hi, good morning. And then she'll say, okay, so, and she takes off. So I've come on the set, my director's there, my DOP's there, and I'm like, okay, so, in stop block, they vanished. I was like, where is everyone? They just vanished. They're like, we can't answer your questions. We just can't do it. So I'm sure they might have traumatic stories to tell you. Also, if I'm not convinced, I will push it. See, it's because, when you're creating something, it's really not about ego. Because finally, I think everyone's looking at the bigger picture and hoping that if the show works, I will work. If the film works, I will work. And the film or the show does not belong to one person. So either you convince me or I'll convince you, either or way. So I do push that boundary that, no, I want to know. I want to know why, but I don't agree with it. So I might seem unreasonable, but there is a thought that I have. It's not like I'm just talking off my hat.
Correct. What has been your most challenging role to date and why?
Every role that I play, Every time I go in front of the camera, I'm terrified. I'm terrified that they'll say action and I won't know what to do. Because I was like, I don't know how I did the last one. You know, if you ask me what is the method, I don't know what is the method. I have no method. Except the fact that I'll read. And so earlier I used to be like, oh, I'm a spontaneous actor. I'll read the lines and I'll do it as and when. You know, when I used to hear that actors abroad read a script like 100 times, I was like, huh? Achha. And honestly, now we have solid bound scripts. Earlier though, it was like set pe likha ja raha hai type of a thing. So I would be like, oh, I'm a spontaneous actor. I don't need to rehearse. I don't need to keep going through this. But now I realize, particularly after DC, because like I said, I had to read it again and again and again. I realized what it does when you read a script again and again and again. And if you ask me to explain it, I don't know. But it's really something.
Does it also put a responsibility on you? You know, when you do something like Delhi Crime, a lot of people turn to you for advice. A lot of people look up to you. Does it, is it challenging as a normal human being? Sometimes actors are role models, and you may not have the answers to a lot of stuff.
But then I say exactly this, I don't know. And I feel no shame in saying that. I don't know. And I don't know everything. So, yeah, people do say that, you know, they want advice, but how can I give you advice? I don't know how to run my own life. And there isn't a manuscript, right? Everyone's going to lead their life in a different way and they're going to learn on the way. And I'm not standing in anyone else's shoes, so I wouldn't know.
What has been your breakthrough as an actor? Like, for example, I read this book on the making of Satya and how everything happened on the set, the magic happened on the set, and there was Anurag talking, and there was Ramu talking, and there was Saurabh Shukla talking, and there was Manoj talking. How did that, you know, like Satya, today when you look back, when I read that book, The Making of Satya, and I'm like, it's insane because it all just seems to dovetail into perfection. But at that time when you were on the set, for example, you know, that scene where he slaps you and then suddenly you're back to being your normal self. What was going on?
So Ramu sir had explained it to me, of course, that, you know, he's come after all of this time and he gets angry, you get angry, and that is what it is. Now, obviously I was thinking about it, that somebody from her strata who has no filters, that is the beauty of her. That is the beauty of, in fact, every character in that film. There are no filters except Urmila and Chakravati, right? So so it was like, what would she do? So she's not doing it out of anger. It's almost like frustration. You know, when your child is lost for a very long time and then you find him, your first reaction, pat, and then you hug the child. That kind of a thing. So it's that. It's her fear. It was like, where the hell were you? I didn't even know if you were alive or dead. So it was all of that put together. And what would she do? She would slap him. There is no filter to her. Also, Marathi. Luckily, I know Marathi. So it became very interesting to play around with that part. So there wasn't a dialogue. There was this thing that he's gone into jail. This is who she is. He's come back after so long. And da-da-da-da-da. And then it just flowed.
Wow. Also, you know, when you play, say, things like Monsoon Wedding, or is the feminine gaze different from the male gaze? Like, say, somebody as brutally male as Ramu, and, you know, then there's Reena Di, and there is, you worked with Zoya, and you worked with Meera, who are also, you know, all wonderful. Is there a male gaze and a feminine gaze for you, or directors are just directors?
Well, I'm sure there would be, but then it would be a different film that they're making. Yeah, in terms of the same subject. No, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. Because what that director brings on table has nothing to do with their gender. Honestly. Yes, I've done a lot of good work with a lot of female directors.
Like when you like, look at you in Darlings, for example. Yeah. Now look at what, you know, for me Darlings is just a very complete film, and especially the twist in the tail and all of that. How did you, like I said, hack also you were working with Alia, who's such a seasoned performer, and you know, the mother-daughter, there's a lot of unsaid things which are far more beautiful than what you say. So how, like, again, Jasmeet, I'm sure Jasmeet has contributed a lot to it. So the work I see that you've done with the female directors, and say even a male director like Suresh Triveni, what you've done in Jalsa.
You answered
So yeah, so is there like how do you, like, for example, say Darlings and Jalsa, how do you
You know what is interesting, Jitesh? You've made a comparison of two films. We were talking, I don't remember, it was an interview or something, and there were other actors sitting with me, and we were talking about it. And one of the actors said, 1 minute, I just realized both films, Darling and Jalsa, they are both Muslims. They are both very strong and ferocious mothers. They are both cooks. They both come from a similar strata. They are similar. They have practically the similar, if you read it on paper, it would be the same. And yet, they're such different people. When you see them, it doesn't even strike you. And obviously the directors brought their own take to it, which is a big thing, right? Because it is the director's vision. I can only add to it. And he or she adds to what I do. When I read Darling's script, I laughed loudly. It's one of those, it was it's like a Bible. You don't move from here to there. It was so good. And both the twists, I did not expect it at all. The one with Zulfi and that she had the same past. So I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then there was Alia, there was Roshan, there was Vijay, and there was Jasmeet, who I met. And it was just, and anybody who could have written such a terrific script obviously knew what she was doing. So it was complete trust. When you read something and you say, I love this because I trust what is written and I trust the person who wrote it. So it was just coming together and like you correctly said, I think after a point of time, it was not about Shefali or Vijay or Alia or Roshan. They all became these crazy characters. And it was just this one insane story that was being told. And we had a lot of fun shooting for it.
Is there any actor who you worked with has impacted you, their work ethic or the way, something that they said, or somebody who you've been, just very...
So, Vidya, in a very big way. She's such a benevolent person. She's so amazing, I can't tell you. She's so giving, not just as an actor on set, but when you hear her in interview, she's so real. And she doesn't mince her words when it comes to praising someone or putting it out there and saying, oh God, I love her the best, or that scene is hers, whatever. And I think that's a commendable quality. Honestly, I haven't worked with anyone who's been stringent as a human being, forget as an actor, but I just think that was amazing. When we were doing, so promotions is a big part, no? Shooting is another part. You make a film, then you make another film. So it's like that. She knew every journo by their name, and when you're doing 15 interviews a day, she knew them by their name. She knew at that point of time when she had spoken, so that time your child was they finally get that admission. It's like in detail. So she made that so personal, and she was not putting it on, which is amazing. It's such an amazing quality to see in someone, all of them. There's Alia, there's Ranveer, who's so sweet. He's such a loving and affectionate person.
Do you feel odd playing mother to actors closer to your age, like Priyanka Chopra, for God crying out loud, or say Ranveer Singh, when you play, what is do you feel at all motherly towards?
I liked them, so it wasn't like I didn't detest them or something, but I don't know. It came out fine, no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Very.
So then I guess
good,
it did work.
Like Darlings was spectacular. I mean, I just loved your it was amazing. How easy a mother are you in real life?
Oh no, I'm not. I'm the no parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say no for everything.
Like, give me an example. And also, with two fully grown-up boys, it must be like, are you constantly negotiating?
Now I'm beyond negotiating. They don't talk to me, no? They bully me, all three of them together. It's become a, it's become a male-dominated house. Vipul, Aryaman, Maurya, Ash and Simba, my two pups. So it's like, I don't stand a chance in that house. Also, so till a point of time, my babies were mine. Okay, and then once they grew up, they became Vipul's babies, because also they want to do what he does and not films. They don't want to be in films at all. But whether it's a business or etc., I don't know. So it's actually you should ask them. They'll have so many complaints against me. Yeah, they'll have so many complaints and vice versa. So I was telling somebody that day. I said, I love him, but I just don't like him. It's like. They get infuriating sometimes. And I'm telling you, they actually bully me in the house.
You don't seem the sort who be bullied.
Oh, you have no clue. Trust me. I'm like total Main Bichari Nirupa Roy types in that house. Total.
Is it easy, or how easy is it to straddle a successful career and motherhood? Because all the adjustments comes from the woman. So how did you deal with that phase?
So honestly, when I had the babies, or rather, in fact, when I knew I was pregnant, not even when I knew I was pregnant, when I was getting married to Vipul, I knew I wanted to have babies. So I started saying no to work beforehand. I was doing a lot of television at that point of time. I told the shows that were going on that, you need to start winding me up at some point of time. I wasn't even I didn't even know when I was going to have a baby. But I was very clear, I wanted to have babies. I wanted to sit at home.
Did you immediately become pregnant after marriage?
No, a couple of months.
Okay.
And I wanted to be there. I wanted to go through all of it. And honestly, because it was my choice, again, because it was my choice, it didn't seem difficult. But for women, when it's not their choice, when they want to go out and work, it can be extremely claustrophobic, right? Also, when I got back to work, I remember the first day and we had some rehearsal or something. And I was going through so much guilt that, oh God, this is not right. The driver didn't reach on time to pick up the kid. The tiffin wasn't right, etc., which was my doing. Which was nobody else's doing. Nobody put that guilt on my head. It was.
How long after having the baby you came back to work?
I think 3-4 years.
So both the babies were born?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a little younger, in fact. One was around 2. Yeah, one was 2 and one was 3. Or just 1.5 and 2 or something. They're 1 year apart. So 1.5 and 2.5, something. But it was a choice I made. And because it was a choice that I made, it didn't seem that difficult. Having said that, yes, I don't know how it is. I don't even know if it's necessarily a gender thing. But one person is getting the money in and one person is looking after the house. Both are equally important. Unfortunately, we do not give that much credit and value to a homemaker or a mother. But otherwise, if you go to see, they're both very important and they have to move in sync. I was recently talking to somebody and I said, so in today's time and age, there are same-sex marriages. How do you make this about sex anymore? Because there is going to be one person who will have to take care of the house and there'll be one person who will, and I'm not saying that they don't cross boundaries. Of course they cross. Of course it's a joint effort. But there'll always be a 60-40 ratio. Somebody's handling the home at a 60% and somebody's handling the work at a 60%. So, and I don't think it has anything to do with gender. Also, I was lucky I had support. My mother, my mother-in-law. But if I didn't have support, what would I do? I mean, I would have been laden with guilt thinking that I left my children with a nanny.
Is there like an Abhiman situation ever in the house? Because you are obviously the more in your face, more successful actor.
You can say more talented.
And more talented for sure. For sure. And I mean, whatever little I know of Vipul, he seems very easy. Like he doesn't he doesn't seem to has too many frills.
No.
He seems very together in that sense. But like I said, men being men always have their, you may have an important event in the house, and at the same time you may have a red carpet outing at Cannes, when you have to make those difficult choices. So the man-woman relationship, how do you negotiate that?
Like you yourself answered it, he's a very chill guy. So it doesn't even strike us as, oh, we have to make this adjustment or we have to make this choice. It's just become, I think on a certain level, we are, like I remember, in fact, when Delhi Crime was going to first drop at the Sundance. And I mean, when I got to know, I was like jumping over the moon. It was the first time anything I had done was on an international platform. There was Monsoon Wedding, but I couldn't attend it, etc., etc. So I was very excited. Exactly at that point of time, our nephew's wedding, his older brother's son, and exactly the same dates. And I had to go. And he was very clear. He told them, she has to go. This is a moment. She can't not be there. So it was really as simple as that.
Wow. Very few husbands would. I mean, there would be. So there is no emotional blackmail because, like I said, it's always negotiation. You're negotiating with your kids. You're negotiating with your husbands. You're negotiating with your
But that is
in-laws.
a constant.
But
I mean, so many times you're negotiating with yourself.
Yeah.
Which is even worse.
You want to talk about that a bit, like this negotiation? Does that get to you? And
yeah,
like you're walking on eggshells all the time, no?
More than walking on eggshells, it's like actually, yeah. Recently, I was thinking about it. That you're a family. It's so simple, right? If you want to put it very simply, you're honest with each other. You say what you feel, and that's it. And everyone has a say. But I'm not sure if it's as simple as that anymore. With my children having grown up, I'm sure even they feel like that. That, oh God, let's say it in a certain way so she doesn't get offended. Or I would say, if I want this done, let me put it in a calmer way rather than giving a diktat or an instruction. So it is a negotiation. So can you speak your mind all the time? Well, that is how I am and that's what I choose to do. Do they like it? No.
So are you this battle axe mother who's
I'm terrible.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm terrible. They hate me.
So tell me a bit about your sons, like who's temperamentally more like you, who's temperamentally more like Vipul, and what are the absolutely non-negotiable aspects of your relationship? Like, do you expect certain things out of them, the way they treat their girlfriends, or the way do they talk to you about their relationships? And do they play favorites? Like a lot of things they go to only the father.
Of course, kids are extremely manipulative and they know exactly which side to butter. Exactly. So Maurya is like me. And Aryaman is like Vipul. Maurya's pure heart. Aryaman is a combination, but he's also a combination. Like, he's smart, he's shrewd. And shrewd, when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, in today's time and age, you need to be shrewd enough to know how to, venture through life. But Maurya's pure heart, just pure heart. Vipul likes to believe both look like him. He's delusional. So that's fine. What else? They don't want to be in the industry at all. And I remember when Maurya was young, he told Vipul, he said, Mom to acts, we see her and all that. What do you do? So he said, I direct. Yeah, but what do you do direct? Means you say action and cut. What else do you do? Of course, they don't think of it that way, but they don't want to be in the industry. They both want to do hospitality. And right now, Vipul is their favorite for the longest time that I know. And I think that's going to be the case.
Do you have this guilt, imposter syndrome? Do you go through guilt? What are the kind of things that
So, imposter syndrome I have.
Okay. Give me an example.
So, when if somebody is praising me, let's say for a film or a scene or something, in my mind it's constantly going on, they're just being nice to me. This can't be anything good, and I'm like, it was fluke. Yeah, totally. And I'm like, shit,
now?
yeah. And the next time they ask me to do it, I won't know and I'll get caught. It's like that. It's that whole thing. I'm glad I have my closest friends and directors who believe in me, because I don't believe in myself as much, which isn't the greatest thing to do, but it's a fact.
What does this do to your mental health? You know, when you play, these are so intense, the roles that you do. Everything, it's almost like you take out your intestines out. It's every single role they're not easy, fun, light roles. What does it do to your mental health?
You know, Jitesh, it's not just about the roles I do, yeah. Everyone, right now there is so much happening in the world, and we may not realize that, we may think, how is it directly affecting me? But it is directly affecting everyone. Whether it's the social media or the news or something you heard, everything.
How do you deal with your anxieties? Are you an overtly anxious person? Are you like an overthinker?
I'm an overthinker. My brain doesn't stop. It's extremely exhausting. Extremely exhausting. It's like, stop it, please stop it. Yeah, my brain.
Like, what makes you anxious? The world around you, or as a mother, as an actor?
Any kind of disharmony, you know, and then I go into this thing of, what am I doing to do? What is the wrong that I am doing? How can I make it right, etc., etc. And I don't have the answers. Also, I am, now either you call it passionate or you call it high-strung. It's actually a synonym of each other. You know, I was talking to someone, I was talking to my shrink, and and he said, I can give you something to calm down, but the beauty of you, who you are, is in the fact that there is everything is a heightened emotion. That's why you do what you do well. And if it's not that, you wouldn't be yourself. So everything I feel is extreme. It is extreme. I feel extreme pain, I feel extreme joy, I feel extreme excitement, or I feel extreme disappointment. And how do I deal with it? My friends, yeah, they're damn good. And I don't even have to pay them for advice.
They're like non-film people.
All my friends are non-filmy people, except one friend, and we go back years. And of course, my team who works with me. Yeah, no one's from the film industry.
Do you look back at your career? It's been over 30 years now, and I think Satya came in 1998, but before that you were doing television, so you'll be hitting your 30-year stride. But do you like catch your breath and get overwhelmed by the fact that, oh my God?
No.
What are the emotions that run through you?
So when somebody asks me that, let's talk about, for example, like they were writing the book, Satya, right? And they asked me for an interview, and I was like, but I don't have anything to say. It happened. It's over. You know, if I was...
So you're detached about the process?
In terms of, it took everything out of me at that point of time. How many years am I going to harp about the same thing? You know, a film did well. It was great. I was appreciated. But ho gaya na, ab aage badho. So it's not like maybe it's not the right thing, but it's always about, what next? It's always that. So I never really stop and think that, wow, that's been a journey. It's just been like, what next?
How does it, because you mentioned your husband, how does it feel to be directed by your husband?
Like it feels to be directed by any other guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, do your personal likes and dislikes come in the way of your judgment? Like stuff that you can't tell another director, maybe would it be easier to tell your husband that?
No, not that I don't think so. Because honestly, every director I've worked with, there has been an absolute honest relationship. Otherwise, how do you do this? I mean, you can't come on a set with baggage. It's really not worth it. And it's not how you can create something or even enjoy creating it. You have to leave it. I mean, if I go on a set thinking, oh, I don't want to say this, or I have to be careful about this, or etc., etc., it's not going to work. And that's not who I am. So I don't think it's any different. Except that probably we go back in the same car.
3 films with him. Dariya Choru
3 films and 1 show.
and one show.
Yeah. So Darya Choru, Waqt, and now Hisab.
Yeah.
And we did Human together.
Hisab is the one which you're doing with Jaideep Ahlawat. So coming to Jaideep, like when you did this Three of Us, what was the sort of you play this woman who's gradually disintegrating. She's losing her memory, and you're a young woman. You're not like this old. You must be. I'm guessing the screen age must have been 45. Let us assume.
Yeah.
Okay. So were there any reference points, and what went through your mind when you were shooting in this lovely little.
So I remember one of the initial conversations I had with Avinash, and it was during COVID. So we had a Zoom call, etc. And one thing we both kind of, agreed on at the word go was, this is not a sad story. There is nothing sad about this film. So that was very clear. So she was not a bichari. She was not like, oh my God, what happened? None of it. It was a journey. It was a journey that she was going to take. It was a journey we were going to take together, and none of us knew where we were going with it. The casting was just sheer genius. I would never have expected either Swanand or Jaideep in that part, So when he told me, I was like, wow. I couldn't imagine how, but I was like, this is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. And both are phenomenal. I remember there's a scene in that where Swanand sings, and it was written, and she says, "Tum bada besura gaate ho." So I had written, ha 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 ha. I really want to see how Swanand does this moment, that kind of thing. And the silence of that film was so lovely. It was a very hectic shoot. It was the piece you see on screen was not the piece that was going on while we were creating it, because we were trying to catch the sun every morning. We were living in extremely, very, very basic situations. It was a small village. We just had these, this row houses kind of a thing. We used to leave at 3 a.m. because every location was 2 hours away, and we had to catch the morning light, etc., etc. But it was just so beautiful. And I think the way it looks, I have to give it to Avinash. I don't know which one, the director or the DOP, I don't know, but both of them. And of course, when you're with actors like this, it's like you just grow from there.
What do you like about acting and not like about acting?
What I love about acting is that I can be so many different people and practically live so many different lives. What I don't like about acting is that you have to look presentable all the time. I think it's a lot of effort.
Which brings me to my next question, social media. I'm guessing you're talking about social media and being presentable.
Yeah.
So, is that an added pressure on a actor? You have to hack it. Like I'm very worried. Like of course social media came into our lives when we were in our 30s, and today the kids are all overstimulated, their brain, but their reference point is Instagram. So do you worry for your children? Do you worry for yourself? It's a bubble. Lot of filters, lot of working, morphing, all that. Do you worry? Is it worrisome? Does it really help you get work? Is it great?
I
for
don't
business?
know. It would be really sad if that was what was going to determine what work I got. And I believe I've heard stories that, actors got rejected because they didn't have XYZ number of followers. If that's true, I'm terrified for myself because I don't have so many followers. I came onto the bandwagon very, very late. I did exactly what I felt like doing. Exactly. My kids tried tutoring me for some time that, Mom, you can't go like this in front of the camera. But I was like, beta, yahi hai, ab iska kuch nahi ho sakta. Even till date, I'm very clear that if it is not organically me, I won't do it. I can't do it. I can't fake it. I can't fake it. I probably don't have the pizzazz to carry it off. Like, when Vidya does these reels, I was like, whoa, she's a rock star, man. And she does it with so much confidence and ease. She owns it. If you put me doing something like that, I would be so out of place. I would never be able to do it. For example, I don't have great pictures all the time. I don't have a photographer going around with me all the time. I cannot look good all the time. I cannot wear makeup all the time. I mean, I get ready when I'm doing something.
But like, are you pressured to use fillers and do Botox and stuff like that? Is there any kind of pressure? Not for anything else, but you know, because it is de rigueur right now.
I think, see, ek to na, if somebody wants to look good, what is the harm in it? Right? Secondly, do we make such a big deal about men when they go for a hair transplant? So why is it being
Now
made?
men don't stop at hair transplant, they do face jobs.
But I'm saying, if somebody went and did something, why is the woman looked into so carefully? Ke, oh, she got a filler, she got this, she got that. She's feeling good about herself now. To rehne do na. Also, we have to understand that this is what you see on screen. You know, age gracefully is beautiful. But probably when you're not an actor, if it's unflattering, it's going to affect you at a point of time. And honestly, maybe it doesn't bother me so much because I play characters. They're all characters, whether lead or not lead, bhul jao, it's a character. But when it's a star, people worship them for what they are. Why would they not take that more seriously? Why would they not want to maintain that? Why wouldn't they want to keep at it? You know? So I just feel, it's each to own. I don't think anyone else has a right to judge who does what with their face and body. It's their face, their body, their money, their time and energy. How does it make a difference to anybody else?
You don't feel pressured at all?
No, I feel pressured. Of course I feel pressured. I don't like, half of the time I see myself, I don't like it. I'm like, oh God, no. I mostly see my stuff like this. Like, but I think because I just own it. Now this is who I am. I'm not a beauty queen. This is what I am. This is who I am. This is as good as it gets.
If you were to turn the clock back, is there anything that you would do differently?
I would have loved it if I was born a couple of years later and born in this time. Because OTT made everyone a lead. There were parts and there are characters, which is great. So the importance of an actor is suddenly elevated, which is so good. Earlier it used to be ya to it's commercial cinema, or there is a very thin, very frugal art cinema. You know, thodi si films kabhi life mein banti. But today it's not like that. It's, of course, there are big commercial films, but there are so many films with stories and real characters, which is fantastic. I wish I was born in this age because then I would have more years to work more.
So there have been long periods of time where you've not done any work.
Yeah. In fact, my career has been more about waiting than actually working.
What is the advice you'd give your younger self?
I don't know, yeah. Because I guess she did what she thought was right at that point of time. I think she did the best that she could. I would probably say take yourself a little more seriously because I don't take myself seriously at all. I don't. Probably say give yourself as much value as you give to others and have ambition. I don't have ambition. Wow. Yeah, which is not great.
Which is great.
No, it isn't.
Why?
No, because
you've
then
done
how
so much so well for yourself.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not that ambition. It may not necessarily be about success or money, or fame. It's also about wanting to do more. Right? I was very complacent about it. I was like, yeah, if it comes to me, I'll do it. For the longest time, very recently, when I meet a director and say, I loved your work and I would love to work with you. Before that, I was like, why should I? But, you know, if somebody wants me, if they've seen my work and if they think I fit the role, they'll ask me. So I was very complacent.
So today you want you won't have a second thoughts to ask for an audition or?
See, audition is something, it depends. Because if there is a character where you really think that, oh my God, this is a character that, it needs more than just acting jobs, let's say. Or if it's a director who has a certain vision, you've seen his work, her work, and this person has XYZ vision, he probably wants to see whether I fit into it. But if you want to just check if I can act or I can say my lines, well, then there is work that I have done which can kind of prove it. For example, I did audition for DC.
For?
Delhi Crime. But I auditioned for it because the producers were all international producers. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know what work I was doing. So he needed to show them that this is the actor I want to cast.
You regret turning down any role or any kind of regrets you have in life?
Not turning down, but I remember, Meera had offered me, what is that film with Tabu? Namesake. And I was doing Gandhi, my father, at that point of time. So I couldn't do it. Then there was Dil Dhadakne Do and Talwar. And I was like, oh God, I wanted to do both so badly. But there was no way it could have been worked out because, it just couldn't have been worked out. And because both if you saw one film, was completely situated elsewhere.
Yeah.
So there was no way I could have come back from the cruise to shoot or gone from here to America to shoot. So I really I feel like, oh God, I missed out chance of a life types thing.
And as a woman, what are your other milestones? Like, do you have like a checklist? What's to be done? What's not to be done? Do you have? Is there anything? Do you have anything on your bucket list?
So recently I was thinking, like, a lot of times I'm asked, what is the advice you want to give people? And I'm like, I don't know what advice to give people. I'm trying to figure my life out. But there's one thing that I really want to say, and I realized it very late. You have a bucket list. Then you throw it away as you grow older. But don't throw it away, because when you're alone, when you don't have anything to do, when your kids are busy, they've grown up and have a life of their own, you might want to go back to that and do something that you left out over there. And there are so many things. Like today, what I want to do, I want to travel. I want to write. I want to learn how to dance. I want to learn how to do salsa and tango. I'm very excited about it. I haven't approached anyone to please mujhe sikha do types, but yeah. There is so much I want to do. Yeah, I wish I could. I want to do that trek to Mansarovar. I don't know whether I'm physically equipped to doing it, but yeah, I want to do it. And also I just feel that I wish we keep leaving stuff saying baad mein karenge. I don't know if that baad mein will ever come.
How do you cut the bullshit out of? Bollywood is so full of bullshit that sometimes actors live in a parallel universe where the sun shines from their backside, and it's very difficult to get.
The sun would be stinky.
How do you keep it real?
So I don't think I'm a star. I'm an actor. I love what I do. I go become different people and come back home. I don't go for parties. I don't go out. I don't want to be seen at the airport.
You don't have an airport look.
I have an airport look. I have an airport look. I have a black t-shirt, black track pant, black sweat hoodie, and a big, ugly, hideous, dirty Nike rucksack. And my sneakers. But now that I've graduated from sneakers, my look has changed. Now I wear socks and slides. It's more comfortable. Who wants to look good when you're like, I can't, yeah. I want to be comfortable. I can't be so well put together. I can't do it. So I think I live in my own bubble actually. I don't know what is happening. I don't want that. I don't want it. So I don't think there is that insane pressure on myself that, I have to look good or I have to be right or, luckily, touch wood, I am still myself and I want to continue being that. maybe I'm not the best version, but I mean, this is it.
Wow. May you continue to be the best version of yourself. May you continue to be this wonderful actor that you are. And just be you. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jitesh.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much.